collectible. Famous, oh so famous, number one, desirable. I do what I want, when I want, and how I want it. Leave you with the one in the air, that's how I roll. So royal, this is me, I'm so royal.
So we are back, and the girls, they got into some things. The girls wait for you to pull one of the books up like you did last episode. So
I mean, do I pull it out now or like when we get in the conversation? Like,
yeah, well, I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
I know you are, but we talked about, because I've seen a lot of people commenting and asking, "Oh, T put the book up, but I couldn't see. I couldn't see what book it is." So we're working with T to get a list of books, and as well as Deshaun and other folks to what books are you reading? What books have you read that you suggest, and all of that. So stay tuned for that. I also want to point out to the folks who in the comment section, I was noticing a lot of misgendering going on with T and Deshaun. And I want to have a conversation about that really quick, because that will not be tolerated anymore after this. So Deshaun's pronouns are they, them. T's pronouns are they, them. Mine is he, his. Zalika,
she, her, they.
period. So let's get that shit together, because that shit is starting to piss me the fuck off. It's been pissing me off, but I've been working with y'all ass, but fix that shit ASAP. So we're going to get into this conversation about Beyonce dropping Black Parade, girl. Beyonce dropped a song on us Friday night out of nowhere. Nobody was expecting it. She hinted towards us on Instagram. And the timeline does what the timeline does on Twitter. Some girls loved it. Some girls liked it, but had questions about what's going on. And for me, I have no problem critiquing anybody. I've already told, fuck all your celebrity friends, fuck all your celebs. I don't give a damn about any of their asses. It's always going to be authentic on here. And that's just on period. I have been kind of critical of Beyonce lately after the POC commentary in that weird ass video. A lot of you all watched it and agreed with me, but I just was not feeling it. But I brought Zalika on for this conversation specifically because they were engaged in a conversation on Twitter that made me think, like, Sis is going to get into the history of it. Also, T is ready, and Deshaun is going to drag as always. So who wants to start it off? How do we feel when we heard Black Parade? Did we like the beat? What did we like?
I was fun. I like the beat.
The iPod.
Music ain't that put on the iPod.
Yeah, like the beat was given, dun dun dun. You know, it's nice.
Is that a Looney Tune beat? Oh, girl, we already 2 minutes in and we gonna get it.
Who produced the song? Because I have been wondering who gave us the beat. Does anybody know before I just go look at the credits?
No, I don't know.
I'm not sure off the top of my head, but I think it's someone that she worked with off the Gift album, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. But I think someone said that the person who worked with her on the Gift album also did this one too for Black Parade.
Okay.
So we're gonna let T pull it up. Zalika, how did you feel when you first heard it? Like, when you heard the words and all of the things being said,
I was on the phone with my homegirl, and she was like, "Oh, she dropped the song." So I said, "Okay." You know, so she tried to play it, you know, over like the speaker, but I was like, you know what? Let me just pull it up. And we were reading the lyrics at the same time, and yeah, I was distracted by the lyrics.
Yes. Same.
I was very distracted because there was a lot going on. First of all, who knew that you could pack that many words like that into a song? Like, it was just, it wasn't even a rap song. So I was trying to figure how are we packing up? Can we, I want to, let's read the lyrics, y'all.
Yeah, I was pulling them up. I was like, let's get
you got it. You want to start? Tell us what our girl Queen B was rapping. What was she saying?
Now, where I hit the full stop was the first verse because of how I engage Beyonce from a Southern Black feminist point. I'm going back to the South. Back, where my roots ain't watered down, growing like a baobab. Baobab tree of life on fertile ground. Ancestors put me on game. Unk charm on gold chains with my Oshun energy. Oh, drip all on me, woo. Ankh or the dashiki print. hold up, don't I smell like such a nag champa incense? And then it's just, she gives us these like buzzwords in cadence. So like pure ice, ice, bust down, flooded, flooded, melanin, melanin, my drips is skin deep, like the motherland, 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 motherland. And I'm just like, y'all say, girl, now your pen is your best weapon and it didn't come to play today. Like not in a way that we celebrate not coming to play, like it didn't come out of the dugout and get it to me.
It was like somebody said it on Twitter, like I think it was Papa's Maybe, but that it just seemed like a data dump of just terms. Like
I just
A data
Doesn't
dump.
make sense. The song makes sense, and I love Beyonce. Giselle Knows Carter so much, and she is in this moment, and she has been in this moment for years now, where nothing about the black music that she the especially black music that she produces and sings feels authentic.
yes.
Um, it feels like it feels like she hired a tutor, and the tutor was a hotep and taught her like all that she knows, and she put it all into one song. And
Did she hire a hotel or did she hire her husband?
now, what's the difference?
no,
Besides the billionaire status.
but the accuracy though, because Jigga did grow up, in New York. And I'm pretty sure like around the 5%ers and whatnot,
He puts 5% words in his lyrics.
Facts. Like, and it's just it feels it just she like when she released the song, I was on the phone with T and with Justin, and I remember listening to it and it was like she feels so disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think in all my years of standing Beyonce, I've never necessarily felt disconnected. I felt like she's had moments where it's like, girl, I don't know what's going on, whatever. But this song felt like, baby, you are trying to have a 2014 moment in 2020.
Now.
And it's getting lost in translation because most of us are no longer there, right? And like, what does it mean for you, this black capitalist, to be rapping about your people getting reparations, right? Are you giving those reparations as
right?
Part of the 1%? Are you going to be? Do you recognize that you are part of that reparations giving, or do you think that you being from Houston, Texas, and a poor black girl from the South, and you weren't even necessarily growing up poor, right? But like, do you think that you being this black girl from the South means that you get to have all this money and not giving any of it up? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like it's her political education is very elementary. It's very trivial.
Yeah.
And I want celebs in general in this moment to stop making this music that tries to connect them to the poor niggers on the ground, because y'all don't have that connection. Tiana Taylor with this new song that she just did.
Now,
like Justin, I'm like, I want y'all to stop like all these black artists who are trying to relate to the niggas on the ground who are at the protest, who are being tear gassed, who are being shot at, who are being beaten, who are having to deal with the on the ground actual harms of what's happening with systemic racism, anti-blackness in the US, right? Y'all are trying to create songs that mimic those experiences, and you don't know what it feels like. And I think I'm wrestling with, Nina Simone says that it's the artist's job to tell the world about what's happening through their art, essentially, right? And I agree with her. I think that that's true. I think that it's important that the artist does the job of telling the world what's happening, of documenting almost, being griots almost, of what's happening, telling our stories, being storytellers of what's happening in the world. But you can't tell those stories if you're not connected to the people you're talking about.
Oh,
You can't tell those stories if you have no connection with the people who are actually navigating these issues. Nina Simone was amongst people, right? Nina Simone was amongst the folks who were wrestling with and dealing with these harms, whereas Beyonce and even Tiana Taylor, all these other folks are not amongst the people who are being most directly harmed by these issues. And so it was like, girl, none of us are singing about oak trees and chains and getting reparations on the plantation. I don't know what the fuck the lyrics are, but we're not singing that. Like we're not singing those songs, baby. So it just felt definitely. I thought it was fun. I like the beat, but music ain't that good. I played it on the iPod.
I mean, she said rubber bullets bouncing off me, made a picket sign off your picket fence, take it as a warning, waist beads from Yoruba, 400 Billy, Mansa Musa, stroll line to the barbecue, put us any damn where, we gonna make it look cute.
She was trying to end diaspora wars in one song.
Did she? So what it sounds like is she scrolled the timeline under Black Lives Matter.
Somebody.
Hashtag, and she pulled imagination from imagery and tried to give us an anthem, and that's not what we're longing for. And I think I want to respond directly to Deshaun's points, because what Deshaun just did was return us to a point that I made at the beginning, that the discourse to me that's happening in hip hop right now, and this is especially prevalent for me because I'm a trap scholar, so it's like hip hop, but then like the revolutionary power of trap and hip hop more generally. What struck me is that the larger artists like Beyonce are using this moment to co-opt and to make a hit and a moment that goes with the moment, in the same way that, you know, Kendrick dropped All Right and then we hit the streets and then we took it up in 2016. They want that same moment. But the discourse around experience that keeps getting lost to me is that these artists are telling us that in their minds, there's nothing revolutionary about what they've already given us. And I think where this point really came up for me is what's happening in Atlanta. One of my favorite young trap niggas, Lil Baby, was seen out, what was it, the first week of our protest, and he was involved in a way that was so, that's just not how you move. He didn't clear showing up with organizers, if there were an organizer of that march, because I don't even remember with Atlanta at this point. He didn't clear with organizers, and he did it at the behest of a current city council member who is supposed to be the young bridge, the bridge between the youth. He's the youngest member of city council, and he's, you know, of the side of town that Baby's from. And for me, Baby's work is, he's one of the last young Atlanta niggas that are out here making music about what's still happening on the ground in Atlanta, a narrative that gets lost in this grand narrative of Atlanta that gets shipped out to the rest of the world. And he was already doing revolutionary work, but somebody from a structure, like a government official, has come to him and said, you need to take a stand. You need to go to the protest. You need to be seen at the protest. And then you need to make a rap song about what's happening. When Baby has already been doing the work of telling the world what we're organizing against through his entire fucking catalog. And when artists like Beyonce, who have the power that she has, the strength that she has, the influence that she has, or anybody of her likeness, or hell, I would even go back to a J. Cole and No Name, because J. Cole and No Name are very much on this same, you know, they have the same gap. J. Cole is telling an artist like No Name, who is doing the work, that that's invalid, and here's a way to do it. Here's a way to engage. And it's like, we are extinguishing the revolutionary power and possibility of Black music and what Black music has always been and what it's always stood for, especially Southern Black music, which is why Beyonce, and Deshaun, I love that you pointed out that she's disconnected, because Beyonce evokes the South when she's longing. That's why Lemonade was Lemonade. And I love that it's Jordan that makes the point that she made Lemonade without having to have read A Beloved, without having to have seen, what's Julie Dash? Yes, Daughters of the Dust. Like, she epitomizes what it means to be an artist, to not have had read the essential text of A Beloved or a Daughters of the Dust and still give us a Lemonade, because for us, we get sold the possibility of what Beyonce's longing looks and sounds like and echoes for us. And there's just a way that she loses us when she longs in a way that I think Solange doesn't, because Solange can give us a when I get home and we get it.
Mm.
And it's really interesting the way Beyonce, we're watching her sort of grapple with maybe niggas have aged beyond a Beyonce. Maybe the time and the moment that we're in is not appropriate for Beyonce, and that we are moving without a formation in a way that Beyonce doesn't know how to grapple with.
Do you all think that this, there's been a lot of talk about the kind of the idea of celebrity kind of going away. And I think it's a long way off, but I think it started with COVID-19. I know it did.
Yeah.
And I had said that, I said, when I saw the brat share that her girlfriend, I'm glad that she felt comfortable to come out and all that. But when she shared the video of the G-Wagon that her girlfriend got, I was like, girl, niggas ain't trying to see that shit right now. Like, niggas already were suffering prior to this shit.
Right.
They're suffering now. So there's going to be this disconnect. For a while, celebrities were able to sell this. Maybe you can too if you believe in yourself and you are talented and all this and that. But now it's like, sis, I don't fucking know, and I don't want to see you living this lavish life, and I'm around here struggling and at work during this fucking pandemic, and you flying across the fucking pond and countries and shit and doing all this shit. It's a disconnect, and now you really see that there is a disconnect. Mm-hmm. So that's why you've been hearing a lot of like the read the room conversations of like, maybe right now ain't the time. And I'm wondering, who are these PR folks telling them? Because even the PR folks are disconnected.
I think
because
no, I'm sorry, Justin.
No, you know, hit it. We all, I don't mind.
There's something to what we were saying about J. Cole and that, like, you know, with the possibility that maybe he has been reading, but doesn't want to be held responsible or accountable for any sort of action. I think that Beyonce might be going through a similar thing, and so is her team. Right now, once again, we're calling for abolition, and we're also calling for a defunding of like the things that they all have to hold on to. Beyonce can't afford, with everything she has going on, to say defund the police or abolish the police. She can't. Look at the deals going on with the NFL. All of these things say the complete opposite of the message that we're trying to promote here. So what does she do? She partners with the Urban League.
Child.
It's a big F you. It's a big fuck you. You know what I mean? It's a big fuck you to the people. But it's very clear. She's like, I can have this discussion, but I'm not going to have this discussion. And the reason why I say it's a big fuck you, because with all the things that are happening with unemployment rates, the fact that people literally cannot work, the fact that people were already homeless, the fact that people were already poor, and in the middle of a pandemic, you say Black Parade, all the proceeds are going to go towards Black-owned businesses, where I'm going to promote $10,000 couches, $5,000 shirts and blouses, $500 bikinis. You know what I mean? I don't even think it's just like read the room. I think, unfortunately, she knew that she was the type of person where she could still get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
She knew she could get away with it, and that's why she did it. She didn't even, she like threw the rock, but she didn't even have to hide her hand, because she said a little thing about Oshun, she said a little thing about Yemiya, and she said a little thing about charging crystals. The motherfuckers lost their mind.
Mm.
But literally, and I think there's something to be said here about the popularization of Black spirituality, and the ways in which, LOL, people toy with our spirituality and our spiritual practices. Now, I don't want to say what Beyonce does and does not do, right? I can't dare try to assert that she does not or does practice, more traditional African spiritualities. And I wouldn't try to say that. However, what I do know is that Beyonce has not been explicit about doing so prior to this moment. And so what it reads as in this moment is trying to find whatever connection she can to people who are experiencing these harms on their behalf or on our behalf, but it still feels disconnected. It feels slighted, right? And none of the proceeds are going to Beyonce. They're all going to, you know, Black-owned businesses and that type of thing. And I honor that. I respect that. I love that about her. I think Beyonce has been one of the most charitable celebrities we've ever had. But what we don't ever get to is why we should be critiquing charity in the first place, right?
Yep.
Like what it means to be charitable and not someone, and what it means to be philanthropic and not someone who is committed to deconstructing and destroying capitalism, right? Like those are two very different things. One of them allows you to write a tax payoff, and the other one allows you to not have any more money, right? Like, and so I think that with this song in particular, and just I guess really just in general with Black celebs right now in this moment, I don't know that I think that we are even slowly inching away from the celebrity, because, you know, after a week, everybody was burnt out online and they wanted to see their favorite celebrity again.
But they posted Black screen.
Everybody was posting Black Lives Matter for a week and now they tired. So they want to see their favorite
That's
celebrity.
another activism for today.
Girl, right. Yes, girl, give us nothing.
Please.
Yes, girl, give us nothing.
Please.
Man, let's sit down.
Right.
Or they
So
want
now everybody's tired. Everybody, we posted for a week. We retweeted for a week. We just tired. We burnt out. Okay, we burnt out, baby. So now
performing.
I think that celebrities are paying attention in that regard. I think that celebrities have to know what their audience is in the middle of facing right now, right? And so if everybody burnt out and tired, and now we all back to, you know, posting about our favorite celebrities' album and all the things, what will that mean for someone like Beyonce or I don't know, like, I don't even know who's released recently, to be honest, because I have been focused on organizing shit. But
the City Girls released something, Tiana Taylor released something.
Right.
And it's Impact did too this week.
Right, and that wasn't purposeful, and I don't think the same critiques apply to City Girls yet. I think that it will, because they are also very committed to a millionaire status. And let's be clear about that. But, you know, like for a Tiana Taylor and for Beyonce to drop, and I'm using their names in particular because they are the most recent drops that I've listened to drop music that's centered around the Black experience, centered around, you know, Black power, Black liberation, right? But not be committed to the tellings of Black liberation, right? It's a very clear disconnect. I'm reminded of the original Black Panther Party folks who wrote an open letter to Cardi B and Beyonce and Jay-Z and all these folks just a few weeks ago saying, if y'all are gonna, you know, make money off of our liking, make money off of the things that we popularized, make sure that you're doing some shit that actually benefits the niggas on the ground. And I think that the only folks, I think that there were some folks in the letter that they wrote who are in some ways doing that, right? Who are in some ways connected to community. But I think that it was a fair critique because all of these folks are vocal about politics. They're vocal about their power and influence, right? But are not doing nearly enough to go beyond philanthropy and charity to actually make sure that they're showing up for folks on the ground and committing to people on the ground. And, you know, I'm Hive, so I know Hive will say, well, Beyonce donated to Sabrina Martin, and she was part of, you know, the folks who helped out with this, that, and the third, and she gave money to this.
Something with COVID too.
I know all of the information that she has done with her charity work and her philanthropy and all of that, and still it's not enough because Beyonce, with all that money given away, is still nearly a billionaire, who is still married to a billionaire, right? And so that means that there is still more than enough money to be given away. They still are living in a house that's bigger than they need. They're still moving around with cars that they don't need. They're still making investments in companies that they don't need, right? Like, these are still like people who are committed in a way to being capitalists. And ultimately, like, however we want to cut the cake, however we want to argue it down, at the end of the day, when we're talking about abolishing the police, when we're talking about defunding the police, that includes the idea of policing, which is what allows for a celebrity to exist. It is what allows for a celebrity to be able to be caged behind security and caged behind the veil of celebrity that allows them to be these special people that exist on pedestals that we can't touch because they are separate from people, right? They are separated from the folks who are there to protect them, and police are there to protect capital and to protect property. And ultimately, at the end of the day, no matter how much we want to humanize these people, celebrities are not people; they are property. Celebrities are not people; they are brands. And at the end of the day, if we are abolishing police, that means abolishing the idea of celebrity, and that means that Beyonce don't get to exist as Beyonce because she's no longer going to be upheld by the very systems that we're tearing down.
Now, since we
And that's
are
it.
talking about property, T then flip through some pages. T, this is your expertise. What you got for us here?
Now, this book, it's called Beyonce Information, Remixing, which is really important for the method of this book. Remixing Black Feminism, and it's written by CK Natasha Tinsley, who is a professor at Zalika's institution, right? This Dr. Tinsley.
So Dr. Omasheki Tinsley is now at UC Santa Barbara.
Okay. Yeah, I know she wrote this book when she was just starting at Texas, but I've been reading it and getting into it prior to this Beyonce moment. I'm like, wow, this is divine. We want to talk about Beyonce in the middle while I'm reading this book. I think the book is pretty accessible, but the method of how it's kind of organized is a little funky, but that's just how Dr. Tinsley sort of does her books. I read Ezeli's Mirrors too, and it's very similar in how she structures the text, but it's still a really good text. Mm-hmm. But the points that she makes in here in the beginning about what Beyonce is and what Beyonce's music does is, I think, what's most relevant to the conversation that we're having. She writes in here, you know, the Beyonce I know is a character created in her songs and videos, an unapologetically regal, overflowingly sensual, divinely hyper feminine, that character that I adore. And then on the next page, when she talks about why she created the Beyonce Feminism, Rihanna Womanism college course as a way to engage young Black folks in Black feminism in a way that's accessible, because Beyonce feminism has become sort of the mainstream, had become the way that Black folks identify Black feminism in sort of the mainstream, which is pretty dope. Mm-hmm. But she said, I've been searching for in Beyonce's music, or let's see, she talks about Lemonade and says, departing from the wide-ranging locations of her self-titled album, this surprise visual album lavishly offered what I'd been searching for in Beyonce's music in the first place: a vision of unapologetically Black, unapologetically feminist lives situated in the historical, artistic, and political landscape of the U.S. South. And then she quotes Taryn Hall and says, Beyonce is country as cornbread, as Bamified as okra and stewed tomatoes, watermelon with salt, grits, and gravy. She is sweet as honeysuckle nectar, as hot as the chow chow that goes on your greens. This whole idea of Beyonce as spectacle, but also her music as portal and possibility, kind of goes back to my point about why it's so important for her to always invoke the South when she's longing, mm-hmm. and why she invokes the South when she's desperate for connection. Because there's something about the Black imaginary and how we think about the South, how we connect to the South, how we tie the South to what was slavery, what was the plantation, and everything that we've come from, mm-hmm. that watching the uprisings happen in mostly non-Southern cities, right? They're major cities, but they're non-Southern cities. And then having uprisings in the South, I think having this moment where the gaze is returning to how the South moves. You look at coronavirus, COVID-19, the South has the highest cases. You know, Black death is higher, but then it's higher in the South as related to the pandemic. It was the Southern states that opened first. It's like, it's this context of how we're viewing the South, how things are moving in the South. And Beyonce inserts herself not just as this space that reminds us of the radical possibility of the South, but also Beyonce gives us I can co-op and make South a spectacle, in the same way that these visuals of the movement right now in the revolution have been taken up as spectacle, as ways that this is all going to be Instagram archive, this is all going to be snapshot. And when folks look back on this moment, they'll say that I took my Southern Black ass out there in the tradition of Southern Black feminist resistance, right, to oppression, to the plantation, to the masters, to everything, to the civil rights movement nostalgia that we often get stuck at, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. She says, I'm going back south. I got to reach down in my roots for this. And so the way that she identifies roots in this sort of, the way that she talks about African spirituality and all of the tropes and themes, movement, being in the streets as something that's inherently Southern, i.e. something that's inherently Black, in my mind is her unconsciously playing on this idea that Tinsley is talking about with sort of Beyonce as possibility, Beyonce as character, Beyonce as spectacle. Mm-hmm. But what happens to the spectacle when nobody is invested in it, when nobody believes in it, and what the spectacle that she's giving is not something that we want to buy into. It's not a valued spectacle anymore. Everything about Beyonce is about her value, which is also, to Deshawn's point, about what's worthy of policing. Right. And I think she has finally sold us something that we are refusing to buy. And it's very telling of the moment that we're in and the role of both this radical uprising and the South in that narrative.
Right. I think, like, T, what you're saying is like brilliant because one, you're talking about geography, you're talking about Southern geography. That's your lane. So I think that's this whole idea of Beyonce as character. And I think what I want to do is I want to respond to what you're saying by using what you were saying, Deshawn, where you brought us back to the letter from the original Black Panthers, what they wrote. And they talked about, like, listen, if you're going to do these things, what you could be doing is X, Y, and Z. Let's meet. Is this not what actually happened 7 years ago with Harry Belafonte? Harry Belafonte does a similar thing. It's all well and fine that you're doing these things. It's great that y'all are young Black folk who are out here. However, y'all can be doing more. You can be doing better with your platforms, right? That's 2013. We know that Jay-Z's response was, my presence is a charity. We move on from that space to Beyonce around this time period dropping the what was it? The Bow Down, I've Been On, song. We know that Keisha Cole and others were very much in their chest about it. We remember that. Saying that it was very anti-woman. Some people were arguing it was very anti-feminist. I don't know if I necessarily felt that way about the song, to be honest. I did not. I thought it was fine as was. However, Beyonce and her team listened to the criticisms, and by the time we get the self-titled Beyonce album, what we also get is a new and improved Bow Down that's now flawless. But what she does is the thing that I think in a lot of ways, it propelled Black feminism in a particular way, but it also made a mockery of Black feminism and womanist politics at the same time. So we get this song, and what do we get? We get this cut of, and it's kind of laughable now, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, with her We Should All Be Feminists, or Everyone Should Be a Feminist TED Talk, right? We get this piece, and what ends up happening? Even, there we go, we should all be feminists. So even Adichie gets to a point where she's tired of talking about it. Her book sales actually went up as a result from doing this little spot. Beyonce does this thing where even at her concert, she has feminists like plastered in the background at certain points of it. People are making courses about Beyonce and feminism. We got the loudmouth white feminists talking about how, like, she delegitimizes feminisms. However, they were not the people to be talking about it.
Period.
But there were other Black women who were getting very skeptical, and they were watching and they were waiting. Beyonce also wrote an article called Gender Equality is a Myth that was published with the Shriver Report that was filled with the working wage gap period, which was only white women statistics. It had nothing to do with Black women or people of color, as Beyonce would say, in the report, right? Moving along from that, what happens after that? I guess she saw the little criticisms because, the Flawless video took on, ironically, a white grunge punk scene. Didn't understand the visuals for that one at all. But this is what we get for the feminism that is Beyonce. I'm just saying, if she's going to do it, we need to talk about it. Moving on from that, I guess she listened to the criticisms, or her people listened to the criticisms. We get Formation. Once again, Formation had like very vague, but yet powerful, strong imagery. Just like the self-titled Beyonce No Zero or Zero marketing strategy, where she let the fans talk about it, she did the same thing with Formation. So as a result, the fans got to create the narrative about exactly what Formation really is. We get the wonderful Super Bowl performance where they just cosplaying as the Black Panther Party in their little sexy outfits. They were cute, you know, I'll say that. They were very cute. Moving along from that, let's continue down the timeline. We move on from that. Lemonade drops. Oh my God, she's talking about Oshun. Oh my God, this is about Shango and Oshun, and this is supposed to represent Yemiya. This is definitely Black feminism. If you didn't think she was Black before, she's really Black now. People go on to say all of these things. She waits and she drops a coffee table book, which includes all the information about Oshun and other Orishas that were also stolen from people's tweets and Instagram posts. But that's a whole other subject matter that we're not going to really get into. And then, of course, Jay-Z and Beyonce says they're going to start donating proceeds to Black Lives Matter as the global network. Yeah. So now here we are.
Well,
I think that, and you know, to go back to the surprise drop of self-titled, right? Beyonce, and this is actually my favorite song my favorite song from that album anyway. The imagery that she chose for Superpower was a riot, right? Like she's standing up against the police. Now, the song is about love of a partner, right? Like, now, when I listen to the song, I don't really hear no song that's about, you know, like meeting my partner at the protest. To, you know, I don't really get that from the song. But somehow, I mean, maybe I misinterpreted, but
you hear it, Deshaun? You ain't hear
I don't hear it. Like, I don't hear that lyric where I'm like meet the protest or going to the protest and meet my partner there or something. I don't know.
I would like to hear it.
I would like to hear it. So I always thought that the imagery was so interesting, right? Because in the music video, we see them making their way slowly through, you know, the parking garage, which was
It was,
very interesting because I'm like, I don't like.
it was probably a condo parking garage.
I was like, no organizing.
It was burning down. There was a barrel of fire and stuff.
It was
like,
cute, but
it.
it
Was
like,
giving us like dystopian tease. It was like,
yeah, it was like giving like no organizing nigga is gonna go to a parking garage because we can be kettled very easily at a parking garage. I'm not really sure what's going on. But like we see them making their way through the parking garage, and then you know they find their way to standing in opposition to the police, right? But we never we see them charged to the police, but we never see them go as far as to actually rioting against the police, right? Actually hitting the police, murdering the police, being aggressive with the police, right? We see the imagery of what could be, but we never see the imagery of what should have been, right? And what often does become of actual on the ground organizing. And I think it was in that moment for me that I really began to reckon with the fact that who Beyonce was as, again, this character, who she is as this brand, who she is as this piece of property, right, is not, was never even really intended to, even if it was her intentions, was never intended to represent anything about a black power struggle, because she can't represent that, right? Her being property will not allow her to ever go as far as to be a symbol of black power liberation, of black liberation for the black liberation movement, right? And so I love that you take us down this road, because that was the start for me. It was, of course, like Bow Down happened, but I love Bow Down. It's
Yeah,
still
that was
I
a
did
good
too.
song.
it's a good ass song.
I did. I did.
And
But
I love I also just I think I genuinely love like when Beyonce getting her "I'm That Bitch" bag. Like
Mhm.
yeah,
Yes.
period.
when she put out Diva, I was like, yes, bitch, I'm a diva. Like,
Okay.
you know,
Do
like,
you
let's
do
get
you
into
think
it.
at the protest that she was going to pull out a can of Pepsi?
No, I was thinking,
Now,
honestly, did Beyonce write for Kendall Jenner? Because
I will
that's such
say
your
I don't think
main
Beyonce, not my queen. Now I'm gonna critique her.
But this might have
My
been around the
queen,
time she was working with Pepsi, though.
but my queen would never do no shit like that.
But they shine. What you gotta remember is, I know you said that we didn't get to see what the team and the group did, her comrades, but I think, at least in formation, we got to see that they might have drowned the cars.
Around the car. Now that's true. In the Hurricane Katrina water, which
Yes,
don't really make no sense because people were dying. But
right.
People died a lot.
and like that was a big moment too. Like
Was
for a lot of folks who are from New Orleans, like a lot of people lost family and homes and lives. Like not even just through death, but just through like the complete like state violence of Hurricane Katrina.
Mhm.
And for her to invoke this imagery as a woman who's not from New Orleans, right? I know you have family in Louisiana, from Louisiana, but you're not from New Orleans, right? For her to invoke this imagery, I felt two ways about it. For one, I felt thankful because she wasn't invoking the imagery of a black kid being shot like a lot of black artists do instead. But also it made me think about how little, not even just Beyonce, but how little even black people in general think of the loss of black life outside of murders by police, right?
Right.
Because a lot of black lives were lost in Hurricane Katrina, but we don't think of that as nearly as intimately as we think about police murder because we don't understand, and I say we very loosely because I know we understand, but we as a collective don't understand that, state-sanctioned murder is more than just police violence and more than just police murder, right?
Yes.
But we get to invoke the drowning of a police car in the New Orleans water,
right,
and find that to be powerful imagery because of the fact that because we know it's not a murder by police at the hand of a gun. Whereas we can critique Alina Waithe for producing Queen and Slim, where a black kid gets shot by police in the movie for no reason, right? Like, but what was the reason for drowning the police car in the Katrina water? And if you were going to drown the car, because I think the imagery is cute. I mean, it don't dismantle systems, but it's a cute imagery. Why did you choose New Orleans? Right? I know your daddy Alabama, mama Louisiana, and you Houston, Texas, but mama wasn't in New Orleans when the city drowned, right? You weren't in Louisiana when the city drowned. So it's giving exploitation.
weird.
It's getting weird. Like it's giving exploitation. So it's like her I love Zalika that you gave that timeline because I think that's exactly right. I think that she has for so long been able to cosplay with more intimate struggles of blackness, right? The more deep-seated, deep-rooted struggles that we experience as poor black folks that she actually, quite frankly, has never had to experience. And it's been allowed because, 2013 when she released, when she surprise dropped the self-titled album, up through 2016 where you have Lemonade, that was the politic. Those 3 years were full of very performative, very cosplay type politics where you can get a DeRay McKesson and you can get a Sean King, right? And you can
Follows
get
DeRay McKesson on
you
Twitter.
can get a campaign.
she follows him.
She does, right? Where you can get a campaign.
Him and his 8-point plan.
Huh?
He follows him in his 8-point plan.
Said 8 wait.
Please.
Latest
But,
track.
but those are the politics of the time. You get to celebritize the liberatory practices of on the ground organizers. And now we're in a moment where that's no longer true. Now we're in a moment where people are looking at you like, you trying to become a celebrity off of this shit? Oh, we loaded up the black trucks, right? Like we riding out first stop. Like,
And the politics were different too.
Very different. Yeah.
People were pushing reform before.
Yep.
You know,
different.
It's different because now,
yeah,
2/3 of the people who, well, actually, 3/4 of the people who were part of Campaign Zero either no longer are or have shifted with vastly different politics. Brittany and Netta are no longer part of Campaign Zero.
Right.
Is very publicly in opposition to DeRay, right? So now we're seeing the leaders, the leaders, right, be pushed so far left, and even left of the BLM, Patrice and all the other folks, to where now we're in a moment of public reckoning with what it means to be in a politicized Black liberatory moment,
right.
where the performativity of it all does not work for anyone else because it can't. And I think that's in equal parts due to the murders, but also due to COVID and how stuck people feel because we are at home. And well, a lot of people breaking the at home things now, but for the longest time we were at home and unable to do so much and having to really reckon with what it meant to watch the world stop in real time and not be able to do anything about it. And the people who could were not. Mm-hmm. But now they can drop Black Parades and whatever other Black ass song they want to drop with no real action behind it.
And I think the people who were at home were also at work. Like, you remember the essential workers a lot of those were Black folks, your bus drivers, your folks working in fast food, grocery stores, folks working at Amazon. These were the folks not getting paid a decent wage to even be in this shit.
Right.
And I think that was the beginning. I think, like I've been telling a lot of folks, like, this whole situation has been the perfect storm to, like, nigga, I'm fed the fuck up. And this shit that y'all talked about, we've been here before. And I'm glad y'all brought up Hurricane Katrina. I really appreciate that because I didn't think of that as like state violence, like how the government responded, and the fact that global warming is a thing. Hurricanes are becoming
going to break in the first place.
Yes, like all of these things. And I think that a lot of celebrities, not just Beyonce, have put themselves, painted themselves so close to a corner. It's just like, what do I do now? Because you can't do that same thing that you wanted that made you money. You can't put these things, because now folks are like, I don't know about that one, sis. I don't know about it. And I think also that it doesn't help that your husband was saying we were past kneeling a couple of months ago. And you were just at the Super Bowl. I think that was when I said, Queen, I don't know about this one. I could have seen if Jay-Z went, but she sat there and then y'all took pictures, which
Jay-Z is not perfect by far, but he's my husband, and we made vows in front of everyone.
But also, but sis is the same person. I mean, and I know T, you probably remember this. Dr. Tiffany King.
Absolutely.
In her class, and we had that moment where we talked about Beyonce feminism in that class. And what was it? That quote where it was like, Beyonce said, I'm a feminist, but I do love my husband. And it was like,
yeah. Because what does your husband stand for?
T, go ahead, take us home, boo.
The way that this conversation went, I love it because of the discourse around celebrity co-opting and giving us what they think we need in the midst of disaster versus allowing niggas who are actually teaching how to be during a disaster. Because, and this is just the point on Hurricane Katrina, if I'm not studying trap shit, I'm studying Blackness as it relates to natural disaster, but also the ongoing conditions of the disaster that is being Black and the chaos that happens being Black in space. Mm-hmm. That is my work. And so I've done a deep, intimate study of not just Hurricane Katrina and similar disasters, but thinking about what culture comes from that, what is allowed out and what comes from the margin to contest. And so when I see somebody like a Beyonce making a video about that Katrina moment in a way that brings back the memory, but only brings back a small part of the memory. And it's up to us to interpret that as something revolutionary or something cute, right? It goes back to the points that we made about No Name and the feminist work of, if we want to get it, we got to do the work ourselves. We have to do the work of reading and interpreting ourselves. And it's on us and our own accountability and safety to our community during this COVID moment of disaster, during this police brutality moment of intensified disaster, against the disaster that is, as Sadia Hartman says, the afterlife of slavery. And thinking about all of those things happen and what narrative, what culture, what is a cultural counterpart to our revolutionary moment. And the fact that I think that we've moved to a place where our public will not accept a Beyonce Black Parade as that we will not accept T.I. and Killer Mike on the podium with a mayor named Keisha as that we are reclaiming our culture in the same way that we are taking these streets, it says a lot. And I'm not going to put the burden of all that on No Name and the folks that are around her and my community and the niggas that I throw down with to do that work. We are coming to this point a lot quicker than I think capitalists like Beyonce realize, that says we know what we should be refusing and what we desire is not that. Because the archive that you're presenting to us, Beyonce, and others like her, is not how our disasters should be remembered. It's not how they should be evoked. It's not how they should be engaged. Because that sort of surface level, just taking face value, just taking the packaging and not the actual content and context of doing the reading, is what keeps us in this place. And so I think there's this overarching demand, and some folks don't have the language for it yet, to not only move forward towards something new collectively, but to revisit the ways that we've always been, which is why Beyonce herself needs to return to the South to find a way to handle what's happening now, to handle the fact that she's not seen, that she's not being taken up, and that she also doesn't see her role in this work as wealth redistribution and you get information. I think we're in a very serious time culturally, very exciting time culturally. And I think all of these things basically leaves us at a place where, are we moving beyond this? Or are we accepting more of it in this reformist mind that I can get all the imagery and the good times that I want to, while also simultaneously dying a slow death or watching the people beside me die a quick one. But it's cute because I got a Black Parade to bop to. And that's not where we at.
Right.
Also, what was the Black Parade?
I thought it was a song by My Chemical Romance, which is what I went to when I heard it. But that is.
But what was the parade in the song?
Well, she said that she was gonna reach out to Mika and do her own parade, didn't it? I mean, her own protest or something, didn't it? It's a line somewhere in there where she mentions that.
I just wanted to know what the parade.
I think I imagine that the parade was the directory of Black owned businesses on her website.
And I think it's this idea that she's taken protests as parade. She tried to aestheticize the taking of the streets and the marching, because in the chorus it says, "Honey, come around my way, around my hive.
Jesus.
Whenever mama says so, mama say, here I come on my throne, sitting high. Follow my parade, oh my parade."
She always trying to get somebody to follow her in every song. Like, Jesus.
Talking slick to my folk that lip like lipo. You hear them swarming, right? Bees is known to bite. Now here we come on our throne, sitting high. Follow my parade, oh my parade.
But bees aren't known to bite. They're known to sting.
Wasps actually, I think, bite, if I'm not mistaken. They bite and sting.
Most of them are known to sting. Like,
we get to rhyme, guys.
Maybe she meant mosquitoes or something.
Maybe so, because we really don't feel the bite.
Beyonce wants to be the leader of the parade, and we not letting her. And now she mad.
She's a bloodsucker right now. So
no celebrity will ever be the leader of anybody's parade.
No. None of them.
So what should celebrities do in this moment? What message do you have for celebrities?
hey, let me come in.
What y'all want her to do? What y'all she giving? Come on, give it to us, Deshaun.
I'm gonna come in. Open your purse. Yeah, open your purse. And you know what? Open it several times. And you know what? Don't have a tax write-off. You know what? Don't have no discrepancies and no stipulations. Open your purse. That's all you gotta do is open your purse. Okay? And after that, you really have to commit yourself to being on the ground. You know, and people think I be talking about Kaylani because she's my friend, but I really fuck with her like heavy. And I think in this moment, she is the only celebrity that I know for real that's on the ground. Like she said, fuck my celebrity status and fuck my popularity, fuck all of that. I'm gonna be committed to showing up for people, not to publicize my album, not to talk about like the things that I have going on, but to be committed to people who are on the ground, right? And Beyonce, I know that Beyonce is obviously much bigger than Kehlani, right? So Beyonce's role wouldn't be to be on the ground. Her role would be to be in communication with actual organizers so that they can lead her and direct her to what needs to be done, right? If you in Houston, Texas, if you in New York, if you in LA, you should be on the ground, or you should be in communication with the organizers who are on the ground who are doing that work, so that you know what you need to fund, how you need to, what you need to boost online, what you need to show up for, how you need to show up for the communities that need you, that are around you, right? Contrary to popular belief, not all of us are in community, right?
Now,
there are several Black communities.
Come on.
My community is not the niggas in LA, unless I just know those niggas. But that's not my community. I'm not in community with niggas in Minnesota or whatever. Like, I mean, I have friends and stuff there, right? But like, those are not my communities. I'm not accountable to them. Beyonce cannot, and no celebrity can take care of every single community because it's not your job. You should be in communication with the organizers on the ground who are accountable to those communities, and you should make yourself accountable to those communities, and it should be your end goal to destroy the celebrity. And that includes redistributing all of your wealth. And there's no other answer to it.
All of it. Well, I love that, Deshaun, and I love that you also said niggas, because I think that some people who watch are not comfortable with us saying niggas, but this is not your clean cut ass fucking show. We say niggas, we say the fucking shit, and you
I
just
say nigger.
listen, and you just gonna have to fucking deal with it. That's just what it is, bitch. Like, we ain't put on no fucking full geese and no suits and shit to talk shit, and we damn sure ain't fucking marching with police. Shout out to Pusha T taking motherfucking pictures and shit with the goddamn. I was so disappointed and so disgusted about seeing this.
And they did one of these too.
Yes, like, yeah.
Not Pusha T.
Yes.
Mr. Push White, snort white, cocaine. It made me dripping in child. But you know,
I hate to hear that.
It's getting weird, but I want to thank all of you all, Zalika, so much. Thank you so much for coming on. This was a beautiful conversation. This episode is going to be long as fuck, but it's so needed. Thank you so much, T, for bringing out those books, educating the girls. I love it. Also, shout out to Deshaun for moving their glasses when it's time to go in. I really thoroughly enjoyed this episode. Like, I really appreciate it. And I hope that you all take this moment, follow these people on social media, support them in any way that you can. The information will be in the description as well as the comment. If y'all have anything else, that's it.
Thank y'all for having me.
Bye, girlies.
I'm enjoying. Bye.
Bye.